This is Claudine here at Rascal and Crow Farm. This is September the 16th, 2020. And just showing you we had a cooler year this year. Coolness affects your tomatoes, of course, in yields and in flavor. But sometimes, depending on the type of tomato, they actually like the cooler years. So it just depends on the tomato variety. So I'm just going to show you here. These are all on the verge of turning. They're all on the verge of ripening. And they've been stripped right down for harvesting. About a week and a half ago, I stripped them down. So I'm just going to show you here. We've got our Lotus White slicer. Look at that. Look how many on here. There's a good, probably, I would say, 35 to 40 tomatoes on this plant. So that's very, very good. And you can see there's more in the middle here, and a little bit more up here. And this tomato is not a huge tomato. It is maybe, this one's 3 inches, that's a pretty big one. But usually they're about that size there, about a 2.5, roughly. So some of them are big. You got a few smaller ones that are what you get sometimes. But what a beautiful tomato this is. It is a white tomato, and it's a slicer. And you can see, just right here, we've got one that's ripe. Now, so they're just starting to ripe. Sometimes you get a little pit like that. Happens. Just sometimes it's a little critter that got in there, but it's just superficial. It's not into the tomato. But what a nice tomato that is. It always has these little sort of cat facey almost type of little, always has this little stripe on there, this little indent as it were. Always like that every year. Great little tomato. You can see it's white. See if you can see that. It's white. That's the color it is. And so it's starting to ripe. This is a second plant that we did of also the Lotus White. Why? Because we love this tomato. It's a fantastic tomato. So it's grown really well. Lots of tomatoes on it. So again, you're looking at about 35-40 tomatoes a plant. So that did well. Now we got our San Marzano here. San Marzano is not as many as it should have. You can see there, maybe there's about 15 on there. If you look at the San Marzanos, that's about, I would say, 3.5 inches. Almost 4 inches tall. Usually they're about 5 as their kind of average size. So we got some smaller ones up here. And you can see it's almost like it needed a little longer, but they are going to ripen. They're at the ripening stage. And being a colder year, this one here's not bad. If you look at that one, it's pretty good, right? So they did pretty good. But 15, about 15, you got some smaller ones here. Not too bad. Usually they're like 5 inches. That's their size. So they make a nice big plum tomato on the verge of turning again. And because it's been a colder year, you don't have a lot ripened right now, but I mean in a few days there'll be a whole bunch ripened. There's a little plum. That's about a 2 incher, that one there. 2.5 maybe. And this is called a Siberian Surprise, or Surprise. Usually with the Z on it. That one I put down as an S. But it's a Surprise. It's a Russian tomato and Russian plum. I love this plant. Why? Because it gives you so many. Even if they're smaller, that's okay. They just give you these clusters of tomatoes. Just beautiful thing. And as you see, it just keeps going up. Yeah, more clusters. Very nice, eh? And so it's a beautiful little tomato there. Plant. And so that's why I grow it, is because it gives lots. And it's, plums don't have much flavor to them. So that's the way they go. But they're great for sauce. So that's why I grow them. So we have our Lucid Gem. Now our Lucid Gem is such a beautiful tomato. Apricot, reds, and purple shoulders in color. This is going to be a multicolored tomato with this beautiful purple-blue shoulder. And just a beautiful tomato. Now look at how many we have on here. So it's been a pretty good year yield-wise. Look at that. Right, tons. Now these guys are average about 3 inches, and so they're doing really well. I mean, look at that. That is just something else. And the flavor on these things are pretty amazing. We had a first year that we planted from the seed that we bought, of course, an heirloom seed source, and they came out smoky. It was the weirdest thing. But we planted again last year, and oh my goodness, what an amazing tomato. So I'm hoping that this year they'll be nice. We got another probably almost 50 tomatoes on here. There's so many in there, you can't even see. There's just so many. Just look at that. Just covered. Just so many in the cluster down below. That's why I say, don't take out your suckers yet. When they're 2 feet tall, then start to decide what you want to take out, because this is what happens sometimes. You get this nice big crop and they're usually lower. So not to be too hasty in taking off your suckers, as they will be fruiting branches. Now over here we have our Eleanor Ox. Now Eleanor seems to be so an ox, right? A red ox, right? Ox shape. That's a true ox right there. That's the shape of an ox. And you can see that one there. So look at this plant. This plant has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tomatoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tomatoes. That's it. So you could see that this plant is very, very fragile in a sense. It does not produce a lot. Not when it's cold anyways, but it has produced not too bad in the other years. But I'm going to have to leave you for now. I'm down in the batteries, and I'll continue on in my next video, just to show you what we're doing here in 2020 in September, mid-September. And so bye for now.